From space to the ocean, even on land and in the woods, monsters are and always have been a huge staple of horror movies. But let's face it, here recently, Hollywood's kind of drying up on original ideas, if you know what I mean. That being said, welcome to the channel. I'm Bonsai Zombie. Here are my top 10 favorite monster movies of all time. Number 10, The Shape of Water, 2017. Directed by Guillermo del Toro, the same man that brought us Pan's Labyrinth, another great monster flick, and the Hellboy movies, the good ones. Starring Sally Hawkins and Michael Shannon, the movie centers around a woman that works in a top-secret research facility as a janitor, played by Sally Hawkins. She uncovers an amphibious creature being held captive by the man in charge of the facility, played by Michael Shannon. She develops, let's just say, a close relationship with the creature. The movie was nominated for 13 Academy Awards in 2018 and walked away with 4, which included Best Picture and Best Director. I love the movie for the creature design. The set design was beautiful and the score was hypnotizing. Just a solid film with great acting, and the creature practical effects were awesome. Not really a horror in my opinion, but a great creature feature nonetheless. Number 9, The Fly, 1986. Directed by David Cronenberg and stars the always fantastic Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. And this 1958 remake of the same name centers around a scientist that has invented a teleportation machine. But when he decides to use it on himself to see how it performs, a fly enters the machine with him, fusing his DNA with the fly's. From there he begins to change into, the fly, obviously. This movie will have you wondering if the fish taco you ate for lunch was really such a good idea, as you watch Goldblum's character transform throughout the movie. From his gross, deformed fly body to his acid vomiting, it's really kind of gross. But it's a great monster flick, and the practical effects are fantastic. And you'll find throughout my list here that practical effects are a big thing for me. Number 8, Little Shop of Horrors, 1986. Directed by Frank Oz and starring Rick Moranis and Ellen Greene. This is another on my list that is also, like number 9, a remake of the same name, but from 1960. But the original wasn't a damn musical either. I like musicals, as odd as it sounds. The movie is about Seymour, played by Moranis, a nerdy orphan living in Skid Row, working in a flower shop. When he goes out trying to seek out a new plant, he stumbles upon an unidentified plant. He names the plant after his co-worker / crush, Audrey, played by Ellen Greene. He realizes the plant needs blood to grow, so he gives the plant his blood. Then the plant grows to be too big for Seymour, and, let's put it like this, he wants more than blood. The movie is sweet and just plain awesome. Come on, Rick Moranis people. Not to mention cameos from legends like the late John Candy and Bill Murray. And let's be honest, Levi Stubbs did an awesome job voicing Arthur too. Number 7, Attack the Block, 2011. Directed by Joe Cornish and starring John Boyega, Jodie Whittaker, and Nick Frost. This horror comedy centers around a group of kids living in the inner city just getting by in the block, which is the apartment complex they live in. On a night out, doing what kids do, robbing women and shit, they come across a small alien monster. They kill it, making them a target for larger alien monsters. So now they have to defend their home from these monsters. Not only do the monsters look absolutely great, because you can't see anything but their teeth, and they glow, but their fur, they're like furry fur animals, like a chia pet. No, not like a chia pet, more like if a troll, just covered in troll hair, but like the troll hair was like pitch black, like as black can be, then you'd get these monsters. It's kind of weird, actually. Anyway, the movie's great for all of its witty remarks. It's pretty comical, honestly. These kids throw out some pretty good zingers. Then it's got Nick Frost in it. Anything with Nick Frost is worth watching. Number 6, Gremlins, 1984. Directed by Joe Dante and starring Zach Galligan and the beautiful Phoebe Cates, Gremlins is about a young man named Billy, played by Galligan, who works at a local bank, and his father is a failed inventor. His father, while in Chinatown, stumbles across a creature in a small store called a mogwai. Being warned of the 3 rules he must follow, he purchases it for his son as a Christmas gift. His son, well, let's just say, with how he handles the creature, Gizmo, shouldn't even be allowed to procreate. One of those rules being don't feed them after midnight. Well, he does it, and Gizmo spawns other mogwai. Not exactly as good-natured as Gizmo. I love Gremlins for the puppetry, the practical effects, as you already know, and just Gizmo's cute as fuck. Plus the little gremlin dudes, they look creepy. You know, that shit sticks with you. But other than that, the movie's a fun romp, and, you know, it's a blast. It's a classic. Who doesn't like it? Number 5, Aliens, 1986. Directed by James Cameron and stars Sigourney Weaver, Michael Biehn, and the late great Bill Paxton. Aliens takes place on a moon not too close to home, set 57 years after the first Alien. When they deploy colonial marines to investigate the space colony's disappearances, Aliens is a horror action treat full of fear and thrills. Like the first, the set pieces along with the xenomorph itself is a direct recreation of the world-renowned artist H.R. Giger. If you're looking for a fun but terrifying thrill ride, look no further. This one is a gem. It's a pretty badass movie, good action sequences, and Bill Paxton kills it. Number 4, Dog Soldiers, 2002. Written and directed by Neil Marshall and starring Sean Pertwee and Liam Cunningham. Dog Soldiers takes place during a training mission in the Highlands of Scotland. Ignoring the stories they hear of the area, they push on with their mission until they stumble upon a zoologist who knows what is stalking them on their mission. Talk about classic practical effect werewolves that will scare the shit out of you. Werewolves are one of the most terrifying things in horror, in my opinion, and Dog Soldiers is my all-time favorite of them. With jump scares, practical effects, these werewolves are massive, and they look great. And there's not just one, there's several of them. With the look of dread throughout the whole movie, it makes you wonder if the people are even going to survive. If you haven't seen this one, I highly recommend it. Go ahead and stop whatever you're doing, go watch the damn movie, because it's fantastic. And I'm scared shitless of werewolves, man. That's why I love them. Number 3, The Thing, 1982. Directed by the legend John fucking Carpenter, starring Kurt Russell and Keith David, The Thing takes place at a U.S. research station in Antarctica. The station is rattled by a Norwegian chopper chasing and firing shots at a dog until the chopper is destroyed. From there, they soon realize the dog is more than it appears. It's a monster from space that can change into whatever it comes in contact with. Now, the men in the station don't know who to trust. With some of the best, and I mean best, practical effects I have ever seen, along with creativity of the monsters, creatures, The Thing is horror gold. I have a stomach of steel, though, when watching this one. Number 2, Tremors, 1990. Directed by Ron Underwood and starring Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward, Tremors takes place in a small desert town where everybody knows everybody. Val, Kevin Bacon, and Earl, Fred Ward, are friends living day by day with dreams of getting out. Until they cross paths with a seismologist and realize they and the rest of the town are being hunted and eaten by the monsters right under their feet. Graboids. Such a great cheesy name for earth-dwelling monsters, wouldn't you say? This movie was thrilling, more so than scary, but it's a blast of a movie. You have fun with it. There's a lot of good laughs. Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon on screen together. I don't know, they just got great chemistry. It was great. I could watch this movie 100,000 times and I don't think I could ever get bored with it. Number 1, Predators, 1986. Directed by John McTiernan and starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, and so many more of those flex freaks of nature. Predator is set in the South American jungle where a team of special forces are called in by the CIA on a rescue mission. Dutch, played by the flex freak Captain Arnie himself, being the major of said special forces team, goes in and conducts their mission with success. But what they don't know is they themselves are being hunted by a cloaked creature lurking in the vast jungle. They must use everything they know from their extensive training to survive. The Predator is just a fantastic movie, great practical effects. Fun fact, did you know that originally they had Jean-Claude Van Damme to play the Predator? But he got pissy and walked away from the project because he wasn't getting any face time. That, and let's face it, if you look back on the old footage, you wouldn't like the Predator the way they had him originally designed. He looked like, like a long-necked weirdo. But if you want to see some great action, some great horror, some great, just gore in general, this is a movie right here, man. The Predator, he still freaks me out. So that's my list, my top 10 favorite monster movies of all time. Maybe you agreed with me, maybe not. I don't really care. Give me your top 10 favorite in the comments, or your top 5. Or maybe you just don't like any of them. Either way, like, share, subscribe. All that good stuff. Anyways, till next time, stay thrilled, you fucking nerds.